Welcome to Forward Ever, Leading in Challenging Times, presented by Worth Wealth Management, a weekly conversation with area leaders about how to persevere during uncertain times. Now here's your host, Gary Shorman.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Forward Ever, Leading in Challenging Times. And we have some fun guests today, and actually a fun project that involved, of all things, bison running around Hays. Yeah, our guests are Jake Brady and Ben Dome, and they're here to discuss Bison on the Loose. Our program typically deals with challenging times, and young people, it's fun to see the way they take on challenges. And these two young leaders are involved in a very fun and exciting art project that's going to be in connection with the Ellis County Youth Action Council. So, Ben, Jake, welcome to our program today.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you. Glad to be here.
It's good to have you guys here. And tell us a little bit about yourself. I'll start with you, Ben. How old are you? Where do you attend school? And why did you get involved with this?
I'm 18. I'm a senior at Victoria High School, and I got involved with Ellis County Youth Action Council 3 years ago when it was our first year. Our counselor was like, "Hey, I think you'd be good at this," and they wanted a few representatives from each school, and no one else from Victoria High School wanted to jump in quite yet. So I said, "Sure, I'll be the one to do it." And it turned out to be a lot of fun and a great experience. So I've stuck with it for all 3 years. And then so this year, when our big project that we're going to talk about, Bison on the Loose, became an idea that we started executing, I was like, I will gladly be as involved as I can with it and take on as many responsibilities as our executive director, Sarah Meitner, would need me to do.
All right. Well, Sarah's good at lining you up on things.
Mhm.
I know she can make that happen. Jake, tell me about yourself, what you've done, your background, and where you attend school.
So I am 17. I'm a senior at TMP. I've also been involved in Youth Action Council since the first year, so 3 years ago. And kind of the same with Ben. As soon as Sarah told us about this project, I was like, I'm all in. Give me as much work as you can. Especially being a senior, I've had that time to really be able to help develop this project.
Well, it's been enjoyable talking to both of you guys. So I'll go back to Jake on this one. Bison on the Loose is a title of what you're doing. It's the project title, but bison have been around in our part of the world forever. Obviously, not the numbers that they were here a long time ago, but they're still around. And but they were a big part of the history of Western Kansas. And this is a public art project. So what's it all about, Jake?
So basically, the motivation behind this project is first off to commemorate the 70th anniversary of the Bison Pen here in Hayes out by the golf course. And then we also kind of want it to be a touristy thing. So anyone traveling on the interstate to Hayes, Ellis, or Victoria can come and see them, take pictures with the bison. And then also, kind of the third motivation behind it was to really bring the three communities in Ellis County together. And we kind of decided that bison was the one thing that we all have in common and that could really bring us together.
So there will be bison in all three communities in Ellis County.
Yes.
Well, that sounds like a fun thing. So back to Ben, who came up with this idea?
It was definitely a group effort of this idea. We, as a youth action council in Ellis County, kicked some things around. I know Jake and I, along with a few other members of the council, met with some different community stakeholders from various groups and discussed some more ideas. And we even looked at other communities. Abilene has the cowboy boots. Wamego has like ruby slippers. Everything in Wichita is 316. So we looked at things like that, and we decided, kind of how Jake said, that bison was something that could unify all three cities in our county, as well as keeping things more local. It's not something super outlandishly abstract that we just conjured up to oh, all of a sudden we have this in common. No, it's historical, it's been there, and it unites us all.
Well, Ben, talk about that part of it. How are they when you talk about size of these things? They're obviously not live bison. They're bison that are fiberglass, and they're actually going to be made right out at Hess Products out here. And so, but life size, are they life size, literally life size bison?
Yes, they will be life size. They'll be pretty large. So what they will do is Pest Services has a big, obviously a big mold since they're life size that they will put the fiberglass into, and they'll mold in and harden up, and then they will be moved to a location for local artists to decorate them as needed. So different communities will have different images on them. Ellis might have something to do with railroad. Victoria will probably have something with a church on it. Hayes can have a wide variety of different things. We've kicked around traditional ones, like maybe an American flag, and maybe it has a legit bison on it to look like a real bison that goes by the pin. And then we've discussed some more abstract ideas too, like maybe there's a snowball or a roundabout on it, because those are some Hayes and Ellis County things that are a little more niche, a little more abstract to our community that will be fun for us to kind of see as well.
So are you guys doing the painting, Jake? I haven't seen you with a paintbrush. Are you an artist?
No, I personally am not very good at painting, but our plan right now is to have local artists who will kind of determine at a later date to paint these bison. But then we've also talked to the Fort Hays Art Department, and we are hoping some art majors from Fort Hays can help paint. And then we were also thinking about having the school's art clubs, so Hayes High, TMP, Victoria, Ellis, having their art classes or art clubs paint a bison or paint multiple bison.
And who does, we talk about has services doing the building of these. Are you guys going to be involved with that, or do they just take over and they just provide the bison? Are you going to go out? It'd be fun to go see that whole process.
Yeah, we're hoping that we can be as involved as we can. I know that Ben and I will both be going to college soon, so this might have to be something passed down to the next classes, but we're trying to be as involved as we can, and we're hoping that we can kind of help oversee the production of these bison.
So do you guys know where, go to Ben, do you guys know where these bison are going to end up as they're on the loose around Ellis County?
The hope is they're going to end up all across the county. So we're hoping to have some at private businesses. We're hoping that the cities can get on board with it and maybe get some on public ground when we get towards that point where we can present in front of their city councils and city commissions. And it'll just be very interspersed throughout the community. So it could be kind of obvious, hopefully in like touristy spots up by interstate, things like that. Then also hopefully it can be in some more local areas, maybe downtown, maybe at some parks that aren't as visited. That way it's also a draw for people to see those areas more as well.
How heavy are these bison?
They are going to be very large and heavy. So it's the hope that Hess can, they told us that they can move them. I feel like there's nothing that they can't move probably with their machinery, but then they should be very sturdy and very long lasting since they are pretty high quality and large and heavy. So they shouldn't blow away in our aggressive wind. They hopefully shouldn't fall over during a storm or anything like that. They'll be very sturdy.
So when they're on the loose, they're really not on the loose. They're hooked down pretty well, and you guys
Yes.
are able to make sure they stay where they're supposed to be. So I know individuals can sponsor these, and we're going to talk about that a little bit. I know the Smith Foundation is going to be sponsoring one. We'll have one here in the Eagle Business Plaza, and Marianne and myself are going to be sponsoring one as well, and have an idea for that. So as you go through that, is there restrictions on where they can be? I'll go to Jake on this one.
So as of right now, we don't necessarily have many restrictions on where they can go. As Ben said, we kind of want them to be in public areas where people can see them easily, access them easily. So definitely one of the main factors is have them outside of the business or have them just outside of wherever they're going to go so that people can walk up to these bison, take pictures with the bison. Um, yeah, that's kind of the only restriction that we have right now. Just have them outside and have them in kind of a more public area that people can go to.
And how many are going to be out there? What's the total number you're looking for?
We're going to try and do 25 between all three communities.
Okay. Well, you too, who are you're listening out here, can be a bison proud owner and supporter of this project. That the Heartland Community Foundation is behind all this, and they help with the Youth Action Council that's been in place for 3 years. Want you guys both to comment on that, Ben. This involves students from all the high schools in the area of Ellis County. I think there's 30 or 23 students involved. What's the project mean to you over the last couple of years? Because it's been in place for, I think, 3 years.
Well, to me, hasn't been our idea for all 3 years. After we got set up and kind of got things running with the Youth Action Council is when this idea kind of came to light. To me, it really means having some symbolism for Ellis County. I know if I'm ever in the state capitol or at a conference or convention, I see Fort Hayes pins, and it makes me think, yeah, that's Hayes. That's where I'm from. I know those people. I see people from Wichita, they have their blue and red flag symbol they have. Lots of people from Johnson County have symbolism of 913. There's just lots of symbolism of community. And so to me, it really means being able to immerse the Bison Project in the community. And the hope is that I would love to see is people start wearing shirts that have bison that say Hayes or Ellis County. They have pins they wear on their suits and their blazers. They have keychains. And so whenever you see a bison, you can think, that's Ellis County. That's my home. That's where I'm from.
That's us. And
Mhm.
obviously, there's a lot of history that goes along with that. People, they know about it, but how many bison were here at one point in time is just an incredible thing. Jake, what have you learned in this process?
So basically, what Youth Action Council as a whole means to me is it's been really impactful for me to see all three or four high schools come together, all three communities come together, and be able to work towards one main goal. And that's kind of what I'm hoping this project will do is kind of unify these three communities, kind of like Ben said, the symbolism of the bison, and kind of bring us all together so that we can kind of realize that we're all working towards the same goal. We're not necessarily three separate communities. We're all one big community.
I like that. And you guys have been involved in some grant writing as well. So you not only learned leadership leadership things through this whole process, but you've also been doing some grant writing. You did one, and I don't know, was Jake, did you help with the Union Pacific Railroad grant for the project over
Um,
in Ellis?
I was not directly involved in that one, but for the Bison on the Loose project, me and then another senior at TMP, Brianna Seiler, we kind of headed the grant for Heartland Community Foundation for this Bison on the Loose project.
So, okay, guys, this is going to be fun. It's going to be fun to see these bison around. I'm excited about that. I think take a break. We're going to take a break, come back, and I want to people can people can be a part of this. They can have their very own bison, their business, etc. And we'll talk about how to go about that process when we come back. You're listening to Forward Ever, leading in challenging times, brought to you by Worth Wealth Management. Back after this.
Since 1776, the United States of America continues to stand tall. It's been tested before, many times. Through grit and the ability to move forward, we create better tomorrows. We help our clients live their best lives to and through retirement. We make it easier. Thank you, Kansas. Worth Wealth Management, enhancing lives and strengthening families.
Welcome back to Forward Ever, leading in challenging times. We have some fun guests here today talking about a project that is frankly really cool. Jake Brady and Ben Dome are here talking about Bison on the Loose, of putting together a project that involves full-size bison that would be scattered around our community, painted in different things that represent our community. And that includes the communities of Ellis and Victoria in Ellis County. So there's some fun things there. We've been talking about what goes into the project, but if you've seen different communities, I think, Ben, you mentioned Abilene has the boots, and different communities over in Lawrence, there's the Jayhawks that are scattered around. Wichita has, there are different communities have these things, and they're just fun. And the art that goes into them really makes them personal to not only a business maybe, but to that area of the community or where they are. So somebody's out there and saying, boy, I think this is a fun idea. What does it take to participate in this? And Jake, you were in our office the other day and we were talking about this. Kind of give us the overview of what it takes to actually buy a bison.
So each bison costs $5,000, and that includes the production, that includes commission for the artist, and that also includes maintenance fees for the next 7 to 10 years on the bison. So multiple businesses and multiple individuals have bought just an outright bison for $5,000, but we do have different levels of donating. So the 5,000 is the whole bison, and you kind of get to choose the location of the bison, but then also what you want it to look like, kind of what style you want it to be painted and what theme. And then we have another level. It's between $4,999 and $500. those go to partial buying of a bison, and in those sections you can have a preference on either location or what do you want it to look like, but within that it's not necessarily guaranteed that you will get the bison that you are wanting, but we're working to try our best to get everyone helping sponsor the bison that they want to, and there are 10 sponsors per bison as the limit. And then the last donating tier is under $500. So those are kind of focusing on more of the smaller donations, but still as equally important donations. So within there, anyone who donates anywhere from $1 to $499 will be recognized at the opening ceremony for these bison, but then also be recognized on the website for Bison on the Loose.
Well, that gives everybody a chance to participate at some levels. I could see some areas going together with their businesses in those areas to buy a bison to be in their particular area of the community if they wanted to do that. And some that would be like the Schmidt Foundation. We're looking to have one right outside here in a grassy area that we have. So there's different ways to go about doing this. I'll go to Ben, and if somebody wants to do this, what's the process for getting started? You guys are in school. I mean, I'm probably getting you out of class for studying right now. So how do they get a hold of you? What's the best way to kind of line up, say, I want one of those bison? How do you do that?
The best thing someone can do to reach us and talk about this project is to simply reach out to the Heartland Community Foundation. There's many ways one can go about that. If you go to heartlandcommunityfoundation.org, I believe, yes, .org, you can find a contact form on there. You can find an email and you can send an email in. You can call the office, and our wonderful executive director, Sarah Meitner, will get you connected with one of us very promptly. You can also reach out on social media if you want to just send a DM, a direct message, or a message onto the Heartland Community Foundation's Facebook page. Sarah sees all of those and she will be able to connect you with us through email. You can give us a call, any of those things, and we'd be happy to talk to you guys about it.
Well, it sounds fun. The Youth Action Council has a great one sheet on this, including a picture of what a bison could possibly look like. And there's several of them there. It's a neat one sheet. So I have a website. Is this good? Bisonontheloose.org. Is that a real website out there? Do you guys know?
I don't know if we've established that website domain yet, but I know that we are in the process of getting a website for this project.
Okay,
But
well, that might be one, but right now it's the Heartland Community Foundation, and you can go there to get that. And also, if you want to just write a check to the Ellis County Youth Action Council Fund, and that'll put you in place to do that as well. So you guys are doing great work out there, and I know you have a team of people behind you helping to do this. And so it's good to have you a part and see leadership coming from the youth in our community. It's just terrific to see that. So when I take a look at what you can possibly do, what would be your best goal for this project, Jake? If you see this, and what would you like to see at the end when you're going off to college next year? But what would you like to take away from this and see once it's all done?
My biggest takeaway from this project is honestly just getting to meet so many new people that can help sponsor this project, just building those connections. But then one thing that I really want to see happen with this project is I just want to see the community involvement in this project. I want to see people go taking pictures with these bison. Like Ben said, I want people to be wearing pins of bison or shirts of bison. I kind of just want this to really unite our three communities and make it all one instead of necessarily three separate.
I like that idea. How about you, Ben?
I have to agree with Jake on this. He summed it up pretty well. I would just love to see the amazing symbolism of our community being just taken and run with by the community, people posting photos, visitors coming in and saying, my friend from Hayes took me to go see the bison after we ate at Gella's and shopped downtown. We saw the Railroad Museum in Ellis, and there was a railroad bison there, posting photos, telling their friends about it, and then kind of a snowflake effect, people seeing, hey, that's really cool. They got that in Ellis County. Let's take a weekend trip. Let's go maybe watch some Larks baseball and go see a bison.
Well, I love the idea because it does. Then the photos are up there and they're all over social media. You see that happening, and it's good to see the energy that you guys have put together. Thanks for taking time out of school. I don't know. I hope your grades continue to go. Both of you guys seem to be probably top of the classers kind of thing, to be able to not only do this project but others. But thanks for the work that you've done to make this happen. I know Sarah Meitner over at the Community Foundation also involved with this. So thanks to all of you for making this happen. And if you do want to own your very own bison or be a part of the project, just as cool, go and take a look at the Hayes Community Foundation website and connect with one of these guys. One of these students will be out. Jake was out at our place the other day, and so they'll come out and work with you about that. Jake, Ben, thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much for having us.
And thank you for listening. Thank you for listening to Forward Ever, Leading in Challenging Times. It's brought to you by Worth Wealth Management, where you can live with confidence. I'm Gary Shorman.
Thanks for joining us for Forward Ever, Leading in Challenging Times, presented by Worth Wealth Management. Join us right here next week for another episode with host Gary Shorman. Until then, remember to move forward ever, backward never.